Welcome everyone to another episode of the Top 10. I am your host, Slasher Scotty, and we are going to be counting down the top 10 horror movie franchises. Now, before we get into the top 10 horror movie franchises, how about we do a little bit of business work? So, how about you hit the subscribe button to my channel if you like what you see between my interviews with celebrity guests, as well as original video content including the rankings video, and of course this one and many others of the top 10. Also hit the bell notification icon so you can be updated every single time I upload a new video. Why wouldn't you want to be updated on new video content, right? And then of course you can like the video if you like what you saw, and of course comment. Why would you want to comment? Well, there's plenty of reasons, especially on the top 10, and that is where I go into my very special golden rule, which is these are my own opinions. They're not yours, they're mine. So you're probably not going to agree with them. You might agree with them. But if you don't, leave me a comment and tell me which horror movie franchise is your favorite and why. So, now, are you ready to get spooky? Because we are about to count down the top 10 horror movie franchises, and they are...
Number 10 is the Children of the Corn franchise. Started out as a film simply titled Children of the Corn, based on the novel by Stephen King, Children of the Corn spanned into a franchise with plethora of sequels being made, all based around a group of demonic children forming a cult to worship their god, he who walks behind the rose. They look to make sacrifices to their god and remove adult life from their town. This film franchise is one of the spookier and crazier ones, and Stephen King absolutely knew what he was doing when writing the novel, which the first film is based off. Number 9 is the Child's Play franchise. This franchise is a film most children are terrified of and always brings them nightmares about their favorite killer doll, Chucky. Murderer Charles Lee Ray, shot by Sheriff Chris Norris using voodoo magic to put his soul into the good guy doll before he dies. He then is turned into Chucky, and to be born human again, he must transfer his soul into the first person he told his secret to, which was a young 10-year-old boy named Andy Barclay. Throughout the franchise, Chucky even gets married to another killer doll named Tiffany, and even fathers a son, or daughter, dependent on who you ask, named Glenn, or Glenda. Number 8 is the Saw franchise. When you talk about pure, unadulterated horror, you think of the Saw franchise. This horror franchise is full of what the subgenre likes to call murder porn, and is more gratuitous horror than slasher. On top of the evil Jigsaw practically making a group of people play games to fight for survival, all of the death scenes are practically evil and extremely gory and violent. Number 7 is the Hellraiser franchise. Pinhead, along with his Cenobites, are definitely demonic entities from hell. Upon summoning the Cenobites, Pinhead, formerly known as Elliot Spencer, would join their rank and become a powerful leader that would inflict evil, pain, and suffering upon his victims. The death scenes, albeit extremely torturous, are graphic in nature, but makes for some great horror scares and scenes. Number 6 is the Conjuring franchise. This franchise can be discussed in a number of ways, from Annabelle to The Nun. The first two films, The Conjuring and The Conjuring 2, revolve around two of the many famous paranormal cases of which the Warrens have been a part of, with the first film depicting the Perron family case who experienced disturbing events in the newly acquired house in Rhode Island. The second entry focuses on the Enfield poltergeist while briefly referring to the events that inspired the Amityville horror. Annabelle, a demonic doll, has some spooky events unfold and starts before the Warrens encountered it and the start of the first Conjuring film. Whereas The Nun is a prequel to the second Conjuring film that focuses on the origins of a demonic nun named Valik before coming into contact with the Warrens. Number 5 is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise. Based on the true murderous story of Ed Gein, this follows Leatherface and his family in some of the films where he kills his victims and skins their corpses for their skin and bones to make furniture in his family's house, as well as use the bones from animals to make decorations for the home. Leatherface uses his chainsaw to slice and dice his victims in brutal fashion, and even uses their flesh in his barbecue and chili for his brother to sell at his gas station restaurant. Overall, a gory film and inspired by true events, both of which lead this film into being on the halfway point of this list. Number 4 is the A Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. What is the song? 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you. 3, 4, better lock your door. 5, 6, grab your crucifix. 7, 8, better stay up late. 9, 10, never sleep again. That's right, Freddy Krueger, a child murderer. Yes, I said it, child murderer, not molester. That was changed due to the child molestation sting in Los Angeles before the filming started production, and was later incorporated in the 2010 reboot, kidnapping children and murdering them. The parents of the murdered children burned Freddy alive after he was not arrested and let go due to a technicality, where he made a deal with the devil before his death, where he can haunt the children of Elm Street in their dreams, and if they die in their dreams, then they die for real. That couldn't be any more frightening, right? Number 3 is the Friday the 13th franchise. This is one of my favorite franchises, but there are 2 more way better. Jason died as a boy in Crystal Lake, and his mother, Mrs. Voorhees, prevented the camp from reopening, and even avenged her son's death by going on a killing spree. Upon her decapitation, rumor has it that Jason witnessed the murder of his mother, and he set forth to kill anyone who came onto his camp. Jason seems to be more lenient with animals and children under the age of 10, since he was neglected as a boy and was left to drown. This franchise has some inventive, creative kills with the use of some very clever weapons, and has an incredibly high body count. The reason why it isn't number 1, or even number 2 for that matter, is due to the Jason Goes to Hell and Jason X installments being part of the franchise, as well as the faux Jason in Part 5, where paramedic Roy Burns is revealed to be an imposter Jason Voorhees. That, my friends, is very poor decision making. Number 2 is the Scream franchise. The first Scream was pure perfection, from storytelling to deaths to the mystery on who the killer is, and even to character development and everything in between. Wes Craven revitalized the way horror and slasher movies were filmed. If Scream 3 was a lot better, this franchise would be in the top of this list for sure. We had 7 different killers under the Ghostface mask, and they all were shocking, to say the least. It always kept me personally at the edge of my seat, where I was constantly guessing on who the killer was, and upon the reveal had me leaving out a large gasp. I absolutely love this franchise, just wish the kills were a bit more cleverly thought of, and weren't mostly simple stabbings, another reason for it not being ranked number 1 on the top 10 list.
Before we hit the number 1 spot on the top 10 list, why not give some recognition to some of the franchises that just weren't worthy enough of being included in the top 10? That's right, some honorable mentions. So they're not going to include any voiceovers, but they're going to have some clips of the, top honorable mentions that weren't on this list. So how about we go take a look at them and then get into that number 1 spot, all right?
Do you believe in me?
Keep away from me!
Out of the water! Out of the water now! Everybody out! Get out! Get out of there! Get out! Out of the water!
What the hell is that idiot doing?
Everybody out!
It was the night before Christmas, and all through the house, not a creature was stirring. Not even a mouse.
Number 1 is the Halloween franchise. First off, the Halloween franchise is absolutely the most amazing franchise out there, in my honest opinion. The first film is not as much about blood, gore, and jump scares, but more so about the psychological horrors of being stalked and having your every move watched before ultimately being butchered. The timeline is completely crazy and confusing, and some of the films aren't that good at all, but in my opinion, this franchise is my personal favorite, and having Michael Myers, the mysteriously evil boogeyman, as the antagonistic slasher makes for an amazingly scary franchise to earn it the top spot on this top 10 list.
We have just ranked the top 10 horror movie franchises. Isn't it great? Oh my god, it is! And just because we did that, tell us what you think. Do you agree with me, or do you hate me for picking one over something else? Or do you just don't agree with the order that they're in, but you think they all deserve the top 10? Whatever the reason is, tell us what you think and your top 10 and the reason why you picked it in the comments below. And don't forget to like the video if you liked what you saw. But before I get into some juicy deets, I just want to let you all know that, well, this isn't just a slasher video in the top 10 this time around. We included some that weren't slasher films and were general horror type films. Why? Because this video included not just slasher, but every genre and subgenre of the horror genre. I mean, why not? I mean, this is not just a slasher channel. It's all about horror. We love horror, and that's what we give all of the fans here. So that's that. But before I get into anything else, don't forget to hit that bell notification icon, and please, because you'll get notified on every video I upload. And of course, I have a weapon of my own, my signature weapon. And you want to, show me some love, so you want to, slash that subscribe button. So do so, and I mean, we just ranked these videos, so come on back for the next top 10 when I upload that. And until next time, and until that video is uploaded, I'm Slasher Scotty, and this has been the top 10 horror movie franchises. Be good people.